Student loan forgiveness is a topic that has stirred intense debate and divided opinions. On one side of the spectrum, there are proponents who argue for the necessity of forgiving student loans, while on the other side, skeptics question the viability, fairness of such a policy. This debate revolves around the question of whether forgiving student loans is a justifiable solution to the burden faced by many individuals who have accumulated the second place to pursue higher education. Advocates for student loan forgiveness emphasize the transformative potential of such a policy. They assert that student loan debt is a significant barrier to social mobility, as it hinders individuals from pursuing career opportunities, starting businesses, investing in assets such as homes. By forgiving these loans, supporters argue, individuals will be liberated from the heavy burden of debt, enabling them to achieve financial stability and contribute positively to the economy. Furthermore, proponents argue that student loan forgiveness aligns with the principle of fairness. They contend that the rising costs of higher education, coupled with stagnant wages, have created a scenario where many students are forced to take on substantial loans to acquire a degree. This burden falls disproportionately on individuals from low-income backgrounds, perpetuating socioeconomic disparities. By forgiving student loans, society takes a step towards rectifying this inequity and providing equal opportunities to all individuals, regardless of their financial circumstances. However, critics raise valid concerns regarding the feasibility and fairness of student loan forgiveness. They argue that such a policy places an excessive burden on taxpayers, as they would ultimately bear the cost of forgiving these loans. Critics question the moral hazard associated with forgiving debt, suggesting that it undermines personal responsibility and accountability for financial decisions. They argue that individuals who chose to pursue higher education and take on student loans should take responsibility for their choices and repay their debts as agreed upon. Another concern raised by skeptics is the potential unintended consequences of student loan forgiveness. They argue that forgiving student debt may inflate the cost of higher education further, as it removes the deterrent effect of heavy debt burdens. Critics fear that institutions could take advantage of forgiveness policies, leading to increased tuition fees. This, in turn, may exacerbate the very problem student loan forgiveness aims to solve, trapping future generations in a cycle of debt. In conclusion, the debate on student loan forgiveness is a complex one. Proponents argue that forgiving student loans would alleviate the burden on individuals, promote social mobility, and address inequalities in access to education. However, critics express concerns about the fairness and financial implications of such a policy. It is crucial to consider various perspectives while formulating any policy decision, taking into account the long-term consequences and potential alternatives to provide equitable access to education, while maintaining individual accountability.